Welcome back to our 3 Bourbon Years. This week we are doing 3 beginner bourbons, which we did one time before. And
this was back in our first couple of videos, right?
we decided
that those bottles suck.
yeah, it wasn't. I think the reason we chose those bottles is because we were thinking like, what is super easy and is available, and now
Cheap
that is
and easy to find.
Our perspective has changed.
Our
on
perspective's
whiskey
changed.
since that video, I think. So.
And also, these bottles are available. Maybe
Yeah.
a little more challenging to get, but not impossible. Or they're not allocated.
yeah,
So
Yeah, no,
they'll challenge your palate.
relatively lower proof too across the board. So all you getting into it, we know, once you hit upwards over 100 proof, it can be a little hot. So try to stay on the low side of that. So.
And when we say beginner, we're also not saying like these aren't worthy of us drinking. These are just
Legends.
great, easy, legendary sippers that maybe you don't want a heater one night, and maybe you don't want something very chocolatey and rich, or it's just a nice little sipper.
And if you're starting off in bourbon too, and it's your kind of beginning of your bourbon journey, it's kind of a good place to start, I think.
Yeah.
Too, each one of these. So, should we get into it?
Yeah,
Who
let's
wants to
do
go
it.
first?
I feel like mine's the most obvious after our most recent videos. So
Absolutely.
Knob Creek 9-year, the 100 proof. The 100 proof version. As you guys know, if you watch the channel, we just did a blind with the 9, the 12, the 15, and the 18. Spoiler alert. This one came on top for a majority of us. So definitely hitting above its weight for $35. You get a nice 9-year, and it has kind of those other offerings of the higher ages, and then their store picks are never bad. I mean, they're always good. Keep in mind those store picks are 120 proof, so if you're new into it and you buy them, they're gonna be a little hot. But this one, it's got the vanilla, it's got oak, it's got classic bourbon notes across the board. It's got some nice texture and thickness to it too, which some beginner ones don't have. So
This has more pop than an 18-year-old bottle of booze.
Yeah.
like 18-year-old of the same kind.
You guys, just for a refresher, these two picked it first. I picked it second.
Yes.
And the only reason I picked it second is because I knew where 12 was. This probably was in my top contention for possibly number 1. So
it was fighting with 12.
the fact that this is on shelves everywhere.
That's what I was just going to touch on.
It's
Is
crazy.
that you should be able to find this at every single store, every gas station that you go into. This bottle will be all over the place, which is probably the best part about it. So, and how much does this cost usually?
Well, I think I paid 35.
35, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually between 30 and 40. So
It's a great pick.
definitely affordable.
This might be the best
I'm gonna
beginner
want some.
bourbon out of all of them, to be honest. But,
And it's cool that it gets you into some 9-year stuff.
Yeah.
It's not 4-year, it's not 6-year, it's 9 years.
I want some of
you want me
this.
to go? Or do you want to go?
You go first.
All right.
You're second.
So this is going to be a shocker. This is kind of weird that we're even bringing this bottle onto camera.
Yeah, I was kind of curious as to.
I know.
What
When
you
I
doing
was
here?
looking at my stash, so
can
my
look on
bottle
camera.
is my beginner bottle is going to be Henry McKenna, 10-year bottled in bond. So why I'm saying that this is a little bit weird is because we've traditionally hated on this bottle and hated on kind of the Heaven Hill profile products
In general. Yeah.
in general. So this is not really what I was expecting, but recently I've kind of come around to this bottle. I gifted one of these to my mom's boyfriend, and we tried it and cracked it on a holiday, and it ended up being an amazing bottle. Now,
Nice.
keep in mind these are single barrels, so they will vary slightly from bottle to bottle, and maybe that bottle was a honey bottle compared to some of the other ones that we've tried. But that really did turn me around to this, and it made me think like, wow, maybe we've been missing out, and we need to start buying some more of these and really trying them and opening them and drinking through them.
Interesting.
They are a little bit hard to find, so you might not see this one on every single shelf, but I think the availability is actually getting better and better.
Well, they're not as
time
it's
goes
not as
on.
popular as it was at one point.
Yeah.
They were really hard to come by. I think it won like Whiskey of the Year one year, and everyone
Yes.
was like searching for this.
Yes.
And now it's kind of behind.
Yeah, we couldn't
the scenes.
find them, and now like a couple of the small grocery stores have like
Yeah.
3.
Have a bunch,
on,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. So, aged 10 years, so you're getting that high age statement, which is
Yes.
really nice. If you're getting new into whiskey, it'll be nice to have a couple of different ages, so you get a 9-year, 10-year, and then maybe something even a little bit lower age, so you can taste out what the differences are there. And then I'm following right in line with Mitch's proof here at 100 proof, so This bottle is also bottled in bond, so if you don't know what that means, it's simply it's aged a minimum of 4 years. It has to be 100 proof and distilled within the same distilling season. So again, we have other videos on that you can look up, but this one's gonna bring a little bit of nuttiness to the profile. So it's gonna have those classic bourbon notes, a lot of vanilla, a little barrel char because of the age, and then again some of that nuttiness, which
some
is
nuts in your face.
Yeah, a little bit
Heaven
of nuttiness,
Hill
a little
classic.
peanut butter from that
Yes.
Heaven Hill classic
Tea-bag.
profile. So that's my pick for
I
beginner
was
bourbon.
watching Deathless Dogs. Dan is his name, right?
Yeah,
Dan?
yeah.
So go check out Deathless Dogs. They're awesome. Another YouTube channel, local guy in our area. But he was talking about how Henry McKenna is extremely hit or miss. And
Yeah.
I feel like, again, like you were saying, we haven't given this bottle enough
love
love,
and enough
attention.
time. Yeah.
Maybe cuddle it a little bit.
It's only about $35 a bottle too. That's at least what
That is
I'm
actually
finding
really
it for.
cheap, yeah.
It's about 35 to 40 bucks. I wouldn't pay more than that for it. So if you see it on the shelves, some people will try and probably charge a little bit more for it because it is technically considered allocated.
Yeah.
Don't pay that much for it though.
This is our senior year of high school. February 4th of 2010.
Wow, crazy.
This was put in the barrel or bottle? No, put in the barrel, right?
Must
And
have been
then
put in the
bottle.
Barrel, yeah.
So that's kind of crazy.
Barreled in 2010.
We were finishing our last
Year of high school.
couple months there.
Yeah.
Dang,
Well, Taylor
really?
wasn't. Taylor was in high school, but he wasn't necessarily
You were- you-
participating.
You were a super senior, right?
I was a super senior.
No, he was not. But you were
No, I
partaking
wasn't.
in all the fun extracurriculars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is cool. We got what, Jim? We got the
Jim.
Beam, and then we've got some Heaven Hill,
Heaven
and then
Hill.
we've got kind of 3 different distilleries. So that's good.
And next is Sazerac. Formerly, this bottle used to be an Old Forester bottle.
Brown Foreman, right? Yeah.
Brown Foreman. Sorry. Early times, bottle and bond.
Bottle and bottle.
I hate to bring this bottle out again because I feel like it's been in like 3 or 4 videos recently.
Yeah.
But it's
good.
That good.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about it. So it's bottle and bond, like Taylor was just saying about the Henry McKenna. We're pretty sure this is probably like what, 4 years. Are they doing? anything
Yeah.
for that?
Well, it's
I
at
don't
least
know.
4 years. It's probably
It's at
more.
least, yeah.
It's probably 5 or
it has
6.
to be
I would
4,
think.
Right.
So
So,
we know
but
it
maybe something a little older, but
Yeah.
if you could, like, even looking at the color of this, like, this is like a honeydew, like honey. This is kind of copper. This is like amber,
dark.
Rich
rock.
mahogany.
Yeah. So with this bottle, again, $25 bottle
For a liter.
for a liter,
Yeah, it's a liter. These are 7.5s.
and this has
Bang
got
for the buck.
some pretty bold flavor in it.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking. You got some nuttiness in there. You've got some rich chocolatey tones.
Let's say out of the 3, it's definitely the
Yeah.
boldest in flavors.
Yes.
And it's got some spikiness to it, so
Yeah.
it's not like the most well-rounded thing in the world.
No.
But it is.
That's not always a bad thing,
flavor.
though,
No,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's
flavor
good.
packed though. Is
Yeah, and I again, in our other videos, we talk about in Wisconsin. Right now we're struggling to find it. I'm sure that'll change. We don't know, but down south, down east, or out east, you can find this everywhere.
Pallets and pallets,
Pallets.
and heaps of heaps.
So right now, this is my favorite go-to for. Recently, my wife had some friends come over that have brought husbands with. You know, they're like,
Here,
what if
try it.
I'm not gonna give them a 110 to 120.
they see this on the shelf,
Yeah.
and they're like, all right.
And I'm like, I got
Can I
the
try that
perfect
Weller? Yeah.
Weller
Try this.
foolproof?
It's better.
And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe bourbon is. I always drink it on ice or in a mixer." Like,
Yeah, it's because you're drinking freaking
Yeah.
garbage whiskey, man.
And then I guess
Step
what?
your game up.
I'm only giving them $25 whiskey. And
You're not supposed to say that out loud.
It's really good Schnickel Fritz.
It's yeah. So, anyways, I think this is a great lineup. Again, we were kind of, I wouldn't say embarrassed with our last beginner, but I think we took it the wrong way of like too cheap, too starter,
Too easy to find.
too easy to find.
and we've evolved.
And we've
since then.
evolved.
I mean, like everybody's palates change over
Yeah.
time, and I think like we're revisiting some bottles here that we normally would have never even tried, and I think there's a lot of value to them. So.
Like this, I don't think any of us have even
Never.
had before the blind.
Never.
I don't know about you guys.
No, I
I just had the 12. I had the store picks. I always skip this, and so
We were definitely doing
Pretty
a
cool.
disservice, like
Yeah.
to ourselves by not trying that. So yeah,
it's pretty cool that they're all 100 proof too. Actually,
I know. When
That's
I saw
funny.
that, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, perfect.
That's silly.
Excellent. 100 proof is perfect. for
totally,
beginner.
totally
Yeah.
planned.
It's right down the middle of what you should be drinking.
honestly like. We don't even dabble in too many 90s. There's a couple that we like.
Eagle Rare.
Eagle Rare is like an OG, but
Yeah.
a 90 to me is like as good as a mixer. You know, so I love the 100 proof starting point.
No, yeah,
Excellent.
that's good.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, what do you think of our picks? What is your go-to beginner? If you are starting into whiskey, keep watching our channel. We got some reviews, a couple other tier videos.
To jump in. It'd be fun to hear, like, obviously what they recommend as a beginner, but what were you drinking when you started your bourbon?
Yes, yeah, that would be really cool.
Were you like, I found Buffalo Trace and I loved it. I was drinking Jim Beam neat. Like
yeah. Are we crazy for not including your bottle? I mean, I don't know. Let us know down below. But yeah, there's going to be a video popping up here. Click it. It's going to be amazing. But stay tuned. We release videos every Thursday, and we'll see you in the next video.
All for one and one for all.
Cheers.